Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing an Inzektor deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this deck because this deck is a super nostalgic deck for you guys to be able to see on the channel. I've changed this deck up a lot from the previous build, and this deck can just loop like crazy, especially with Hornet and Dragonfly both being at 3. I'm really glad that they left this card at 3 because they are just so good in this deck. This deck has a lot of potential, and I'm really excited to show you guys this deck because I have totally changed this deck up from the previous build, and it is absolutely crazy. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name in the description of a single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Inzektor Hornet. So Inzektor Hornet is the main card that you're going to be using in this entire deck to be able to combo off with Dragonfly. And what this card does is once per turn, you can equip one Inzektor monster from your hand or graveyard to this card, and then when this card is equipped to a monster, that monster's level is increased by 3. And also, it gains attack and defense equal to this card's attack and defense, but the really good effect of this card is when this card is equipped to a monster, you can send it to the graveyard to target a card on the field and destroy it. Now, this is not once per turn. This card just immediately pops something on the field just over and over and over again, which is a great effect. We then play 3 copies of Inzektor Dragonfly. So Inzektor Dragonfly is also a great card in this deck because it has the ability that once per turn, you can equip one Inzektor monster from your hand or graveyard to this card. And if it is equipped with a card, or if a equipped card is sent to your graveyard while equipped to this card, then you can special summon one Inzektor monster from the deck. And then while this card is equipped to a monster, it gains 3 levels, which is pretty good as well. We then play 3 copies of Inzektor Centipede, which is probably one of the best cards to actually search off the copy of Dragonfly, because basically what you want is to get your copy of Dragonfly equipped with Hornet, and then pop something, and then summon out your copy of Centipede, because Centipede has the ability that once per turn, you can equip an Inzektor monster from your hand or graveyard to this card, and if it is equipped or sent to the graveyard, then you get to add one Inzektor card from your deck to your hand, and when this card is equipped to a monster, you can increase its level by 3. We then play 3 copies of Inzektor Ladybug. Ladybug is a fantastic card because it has the ability as well that once per turn you can equip an Inzektor monster from your hand or graveyard to this card, and then when this card is equipped to a monster, that monster's level is increased by 2. And also it gains attack and defense equal to its current attack and defense, and then also has the ability that when this card is equipped to a monster, you can send this equipped card to the graveyard to target one face of monster you control and increase that target's level by 2. But it also triggers a lot of your monster's effects, like your copy of your Dragonfly. We then play 2 copies of Inzektor Hopper. Inzektor Hopper is just a 2 of to me because it has a very, very neat effect that basically lets you once per turn equip it with an Inzektor monster from your hand or graveyard, and then when this card is equipped to a monster, it increases its level by 4. And then when this card is equipped to a monster, you can send this equipped card to the graveyard, and that monster can attack your opponent directly, and other monsters you control cannot activate their effects, other monsters cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. We then play 2 copies of Gigamanus. I just played 2 Gigamanus. Gigamanus is a key combo piece for this particular deck. It is a very important card that has the ability that you can target an Inzektor you control and equip this card from your hand to that target, and then when it's equipped to that target, the original attack of that monster becomes 2400. And if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to that monster, then you get to target an Inzektor monster in your graveyard and special summon that target, which is a great effect. We then play 2 copies of Gigaweevil. Gigaweevil also helps out in the deck a lot because it lets you target one face of Inzektor and equip this card to that monster. And then when this card is equipped to a monster, its original defense becomes 2600. And if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can target an Inzektor monster in your graveyard and special summon back that target. So basically both of these are monster reborns when they're sent to the graveyard. So that's pretty much it for your Inzektor monsters. We do play a lot of other tech cards, but I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way because you play a lot of other tech monsters in this particular deck to make the deck kind of work really smoothly. We then play 3 copies of Danger Mothman. Danger Mothman is a fantastic card in this deck. The Danger package just works out so well in this deck. Basically, all your Dangers share the ability to reveal them in your hand. Your opponent randomly chooses a card in your hand, and then you discard the chosen card that they chose. But then if they discarded, or if this card was not this card, then you get to special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, you gain an effect to be able to draw a card, which all of your danger monsters share that ability. But if they're discarded, they have a unique effect, which the unique effect of Mothman is that you draw a card, both players draw a card, and then discard a card. We then play a single copy of Danger Nessie. Danger Nessie has the ability that if this card is discarded to the graveyard, you get to add a danger card from your deck to your hand. Danger Tsuchinoko has the ability, or Danger Noodle has the ability, if this card is discarded, then you get to special summon this card regardless. And then we play a single copy of Danger Jackalope. Danger Jackalope, if it's discarded to the graveyard, you get to special summon a danger monster from your deck in defense position, which is a great effect just to be able to get you an additional danger monster on your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Ancient Cloak and a single copy of Silent Boots. You can play Dragoons in here, but I wanted to go for something a little bit different. I wanted to play Rusty Bardiche in my particular build instead, so I went ahead for the Rusty Bardiche instead of the Dragoons package. So I'm playing these in the place of Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon. I don't feel like I really need them. You can play them if you want to, but I just like to play Rusty Bardiche because it's going to give me multiple cards on my side of the field to give me additional negations of monster effects. So it's going to do pretty much like really good stopping my opponent, and gets me searches as well to make some rank 4 plays, especially with my copies of my Danger Mothman. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is a fantastic card in this particular deck because it lets you target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. So basically just stops hand traps against you. One copy of Monster Reborn as an extender for this particular deck. Foolish Burial because it can get the exact Inzektor you need to the graveyard when you need it. Or one of your copies of your Ancient Cloaks or Silent Boots. 2 copies of Insect Imitation. Insect Imitation is a very neat card because you offer one of your monsters on your side of the field as a tribute, and then you get to select an insect monster from your deck that's 1 level higher, and then you special summon it to your side of the field, which is a really good effect just to be able to get you an additional monster onto your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Inzektor. Inzektor is such a good card in this deck because it lets you equip only to an Inzect monster, and it gains 800 attack and defense. And when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target an Inzektor in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is a great effect just to be able to grab an Inzektor back from the graveyard. 3 copies of Cocoon of Ultra Evolution to round out the spells. It has the neat ability that you get to equip, or you get to target 1 insect monster from the field that's equipped with another card, and then if you do, you get to special summon a insect monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, but you have to tribute that insect monster on your side of the field, which is not that big of a deal because it's going to help you get your copy of Dragonfly out as quickly as possible, and then you're already going to have Inzektors in the graveyard, and some of them go off when they do touch the graveyard, so you do have some really neat effects with this card as well. It also lets you shuffle, during your main phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then target an insect monster in the grave, shuffle this card, or shuffle it into the deck, and then you draw a card, which is also a really good effect just to let you dig into the deck a little bit deeper. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Shade Brigandine. Shade Brigandine is really helpful in this deck to get you into some rank 4 plays and help you extend your plays to get into some really nice link plays. And then 2 copies of Fogblade. The 2 copies of Fogblade just stop my opponent's monster effect, so I played 2 of these. They're easily searchable off your copy of Rusty Bardiche with Silent Boots sending the graveyard, so you have some really easy plays with this particular card, just to be able to grab those cards from the deck to be able to negate monster effects. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Inzektor Exabeetle. Exabeetle is a great combo piece in this particular deck. It's pretty easy to actually summon. And when this card is XZ summoned, you get to target 1 monster in either player's graveyard and equip it to this card. This card gains attack equal to the equipped monster's original attack and defense of that monster that's equipped to this card. And then once per turn as well, you can detach a material from this card to target 1 face-up card on the field and send those targets to the graveyard, which is not that big of a deal to be able to just send cards to the graveyard off of this card's effect. We then play a single copy of Raider's Knight because it helps you go into a really nice boss monster, which is Arc Rebellion. Arc Rebellion just gets really big and helps you OTK your opponent. It's really nice of a card to be able to just immediately cold wave the field. That if this card is summoned to your side of the field, you can detach a material from this card, and this card gains attack equal to the original attack of all other monsters on the field. And then if this card has a dark material on it as well, you can negate the effects of all other face-up cards on the field. And after this card's effect is activated, you negate the effects of all the face-up cards on the field. And after this card resolves, then you can't declare an attack with a card except for this card for the rest of the turn. We then play an Abyss Dweller to lock down graveyards. 1 copy of number 60 to be able to draw 2, discard 1, revive something from graveyard, or double the attack of a monster. Usually you're going to revive something from the graveyard just to get you additional plays in this particular deck. 1 copy of Levenair, the Sea Dragon. This card also helps you out because you can banish stuff from the graveyard to be able to bring it back, which is really nice just to get those cards back to your side of the field. It's a great combo piece in this particular deck. For the Link monsters, we play quite a few Link monsters in this deck, which we're going to start out with a single copy of Appaloosa just to get us additional negations. 1 copy of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. This card is fantastic to summon to your side of the field because basically it's just going to be like, you can't get rid of this card. It's so hard to out. We play a single copy of Access Code just to be able to pop additional cards against our opponent. 1 copy of Yugioh because it lets us dig into the deck really deep. In this deck, special summons like crazy. It's really easy to link climb into this card. 1 copy of the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardige. Rusty Bardige is really good to be able to search your copies of Fogblade in the deck to be able to then set them to your side of the field. Or if you need an extension play, you can also grab your copy of Shade Brigandine. 1 copy of Unicorn to spin stuff. 1 copy of Phoenix to pop spells and traps. Inzektor Link monster because it shuffles cards back into the deck and then you get to draw a card, which is pretty good. I like that ability. And then a single copy of IP Masquerena because it lets you link summon during your opponent's turn into your copy of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax, or even do it into a copy of, say, for example, maybe a Nightmare Unicorn to spin something. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play around with. It has some really insane combos that you guys can play around with. You can play, like I said, you can play Dragoons, and you can end on Dragoons very easily in this deck. I don't particularly want to play it in this particular build. I wanted to go for something a little bit different because I wanted to throw in a copy of the Phantom Knight package. I think it works really well in Inzektors because you can use them to be able to pop your back row of your cards or pop the opponent's cards to send your copies of your Phantom Knight cards to the graveyard, which is really nice so you can attack into those monsters, which is really nice to be able to pop those cards. So it's just a really good deck overall. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of notifications button. Definitely check out the Patreon in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.